I've got good news. There's a media source in the community that can keep you well informed of the educational, economic, political, civic, social, and spiritual happenings in the community. And that resource is the Macon Middle Georgia Black Pages. You know, I started this about 32 years ago because I wanted to engage myself in an economic activity that would influence the community. So I started the Black Pages in an effort to advertise and promote and list African American businesses throughout the community with community and corporate support. And what ties to the quality of life is money. So what we try to do is try to uplift the community economically, encouraging consumers to go and do business with these businesses. And what will happen, a rising tide raises the whole ship. It will improve the entire community. Download our app by going to www.maconblackpages.com. Sometimes they say big things come in small packages. Well, that can also apply to a community, because a community may be relatively smaller. That doesn't mean that it's not a big thing, and that doesn't mean that it's not doing the big thing. Let me prove it to you. Let's take, for example, Fort Valley, Georgia, the home of Fort Valley State University, and along the home of what used to be Haversham Music Center back in the dark ages when I had a record shop down there. But and let's also talk about regionalism. I think everybody in the region, in Macon, Warner Robins, and surrounding counties, will attest to the role that Fort Valley played because of the college and its location and things of that nature, and the land, the farm, and what have you, in making our region whole. So I'm more than a little happy.
Yes, sir.
I'm more than a little proud to be able to have on the show today. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. But I got the great mayor of Fort Valley, Mr. Lundy, Mayor Lundy.
How you doing, sir?
And I've got, the CAO in the person of Mr. Gary Lee.
Yes,
How
sir.
y'all doing?
We're doing great today. Doing great.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with the mayor. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been able to accomplish the goal of becoming the mayor, and I know you've been associated with some other things in Fort Valley. So talk a little bit, first of all, about yourself.
Okay, well, originally I'm from Americus, Georgia. Come from a very large family, 11 siblings. And so it's 9 of us still living. I'm the baby boy of the group. So I got siblings that's older than me that, keep me in line and keep me straight, right?
Right.
And so my pathway to Fort Valley started first out of high school. I joined the military. And so I went to the military, got out the military, went back to my hometown of Americus. And from there, I started wanting to be in law enforcement. In the early 70s, 80s, you didn't have too many African Americans sport a police uniform, and so some that caught my attention. And when they caught my attention, because there was positive influence in the neighborhood, and being black was a big thing. So from that, I joined the law enforcement family in Americus, and by happenstance, I end up coming to Fort Valley, and I retired as a police officer from Fort Valley with over 30 years of service. Wow. So what that did, it gave me an insight of some of the needs of Fort Valley from different lenses and different perspectives. And so to be in the seat of the mayor right now is one of the greatest privileges, I think, that the Lord has given me, to be able to do some things from a servant heart, and being able to attach who I am to some of the different issues that we face day in and day out. And with that, and I say this with a clear, straight face, and then have a city administrator. We call ourselves the Batman and the Robin. We're not going to say which is which now. But just to be able to, be doing some things in Fort Valley, to be able to talk about those things, to see how Fort Valley, and you made it in your introduction, the importance of Fort Valley, and we are the voice that's going to be crying out louder every day about the good things that's taking place to overshadow and override the negativity that people try to send this way on our administration. So that's a little bit about me. And I hope before this whole conversation is over, that you all can find out more about the both of us and our aim and vision for the city of Fort Valley.
Well, I certainly expect to bring it out,
Yes, sir.
and then I certainly, let me tell you something. You know, what I'm looking at on the screen, which is the two of you together, sends a message,
Yes, sir.
And that, if you can find somebody you can work with, if you can find somebody you can partner with, if you can find somebody, it's almost like a matter of like-mindedness,
Sir.
then, it makes it a whole lot easier to accomplish, some programs, projects, and initiatives. Speaking of programs, projects, and initiatives, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the CAO of Fort Valley, Georgia, Mr. Gary Lee. Gary, talk about a little of the programs, but well, then, you could talk about the problems, you could talk about the program, and you can talk about the project, and you and the mayor can chime in, collectively
Yeah,
when you get ready. But people need to know what's going on in Fort Valley.
That's how he and I operate.
Mm-hmm.
We are a tag team. We're a tag team. He brings. I mean, he knows it. He works it, and I'm. It looks like sometimes we support each other, and that's what we do. We got a lot of things going on in Fort Valley. We're engaged with Fort Valley State, Bluebird, all of the different aspects, Lane Package, even Pearson, all of the ones that are close by us right here. We got a lot of things going on. We got a redevelopment plan that we're actually finna implement downtown area. We are in the process of creating us a new municipal complex. All right. And so we're on our way. We got a multitude of things we're aspects of moving.
Well, that's very, very outstanding. Um, well, how can you be supported? No man is an island, and no couple is an island. So I know oftentimes, the consuming public doesn't understand the need for community support. You just mentioned three major institutions, Franklin, Bluebird, Fort Valley State, and Lane Packing. You know, so talk about a little bit about that relationship, and talk a little bit about how the community can become more involved in assisting you to even further, promote those relationships.
Well, let's start with what's been here for over 100 years, right? And I say when you come in from the north, you run into Bluebird Body Company. If you come in from the south, you're gonna run into the Fort Valley State University, right? And so in the city of Fort Valley, I always say you can't have one without the other. You need all of those things working together in the city. And we've been talking about, when I first got in office, and Mr. Lee, he was the economic developer, and he used to always say, if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And so how some of the things that's so beautiful about Fort Valley, and I'm going to say this, and we're going to make mention of that in the future growth of Fort Valley and Peach County. It deals with collaboration between the county, with Fort Valley State, with Bluebird, with the city of Fort Valley. We call it those partners that as and some of the slogans we use, like come grow with us. We understand more of the complexity now. What it mean to have them at the table, what it mean to discuss the need of Fort Valley, understanding that in order to grow, have something that show that we are working, collaborating, and for the future growth of Fort Valley and Peach County. We got a mega site. We talking about the infrastructure. We talking about a company called Emola. We're gonna attract their attention to be in Fort Valley, And things like that starts with what I say, getting at the table, understanding plans, and understanding you're going to need collaborative partners, community partners, to buy into what it's going to take to change. Number one, the economy of Fort Valley. And I say this, I say this all the time. What has not moved in that 100 years or 50 so years is the poverty needle. The poverty in Fort Valley has been stagnated at the same for average household income. So when you start talking about business opportunities, better paying jobs, you start talking about the school system, the crime rate. See, our administration concentrate on all of those things because we want to be attractive. We don't want you just to go ride through Fort Valley. We want to give you a reason to stop.
Right.
And so we are working with developers for different things. And like Mr. Lee said, Gary said, we in the process of rolling out our master plan, which include redevelopment of downtown, a municipal complex, and which includes developing more restaurants. That's why we say, hey, that building, Mr. Habersham, it's still, and I'm gonna say to you what I say sometimes to other investors who come and talk to it. Get in early because later might be too late. It might be harder than now.
Right.
So we're
Right.
excited about those things. We're excited about our county, our counterparts, the Fort Valley State University. We are watching some things that they are doing in the downtown area. We are watching. We had a meeting a while back, and Gary was talking about coming outside the gates,
Right.
getting outside of the gates, and we seeing them building some dorms outside of the gate, close to Fort Valley State, and all these are just conversations that we have been having and we'll continue to have.
Yeah, that's very, very outstanding. So as it relates to economic development and planning, Gary, although the mayor has broached it, in a manner. So what's your vision? I mean, what are you working on and what do you like to see? And then what kind of support can you use from a regional perspective, because, lately all the emphasis or much of the emphasis has been placed on regionalism. So
Yes.
what kind of support can you get from your friends and neighbors on certain specific projects and initiatives that you're working on?
Well, in with Fort Valley, with Fort Valley and Warner Robins, you got Houston County, Bibb County, and you have Peach County. All right. And so we're all tied together. I've been working in economic development for 18 years, 19 years. And I've been working with those same guys that are in each one of those counties, Bibb County, Peach County, Twiggs, and Houston County. And so the great thing about being here is that I know how they plug together, how the land crosses. Like for instance, we have a partnership with Peach County, City of Warner Robins does. So, but it brings us in Fort Valley. All right. Wherever I run my Fort Valley utilities, and wherever I run it, we get 6% of that. So our growth and our development, it pays us money. So when we started talking about what do we need to do to enhance Fort Valley and the community, the thing was and I used as an example when I used Georgia Tech as an example when they came out across 75. That's just like coming outside of the walls. They in turns, when they went across 75, that exploded that development because I took students over there and and then we created the needs for the students. Same thing here in Fort Valley. What we're talking about is bringing our kids outside of that wall, bringing them downtown. They have to, and then be able to use their tools that they have and at the school. As far as I use example, in Atlanta, we use a buzz card. That's the card that they pay for their meals and everything on. They can use that across the street. Same thing in Fort Valley. They have a meal card. What we want to do there is they be able to use their meal card downtown. They be able to, you see what I'm saying? So it will give them an opportunity to come outside of the wall, and we connect those corridors. We got a new nursing program that's coming on, that's online, that we're building dorms for that. So we're looking at all those aspects of it. So growth is coming.
That's outstanding. That's very outstanding. So it's good to know. Now, people don't talk much about lane packing. Talk a little bit about lane packing. I mean, people know about Bluebird and people know about Fort Valley State, and you all can talk more about them. But evidently, lane packing plays an important role in the economy.
Yes,
And
sir.
then, and then also talk about that new industry that's on the horizon that you all are looking at trying to get them to come.
Well, internationally known is what I say about lane packing,
Right.
right? If you ride the interstate, you see signs. They ship all over the world, peaches and things like that. They provide a workforce also for Fort Valley, Peach County, and so from pecans to, I mean, it's open like 6 days a week, and the traffic flow that come to lane packing, it becomes sometimes overwhelming because you see travelers from all over, even international travelers, stop there
Mm-hmm.
and just partake of all the different things that they sell and festivities that they have going on day in and day out. And so, yes, we know the importance of lane packing as it relates to the workforce, as it relates to revenue coming into the county. And so they are not mentioned as much as they should be, but at the same time, we are so appreciative that they are here because, like I said, like you said, and we all can agree, all roads at some point in time got to run through Fort Valley, right?
That's right.
And so if they get off 75 in Byron to look for lane packing, they'll come through Fort Valley and hit 96. And so with that, and even the like I said about the different industries, we'll start with the mega site where the governor, because the governor put years ago millions and millions of dollars into some land down here to attract what we call opportunities at a mega site. If you come in Fort Valley now, you'll see a lot of that infrastructure being put in place, and you'll see uh, just what's on the horizon. And so when it comes to the utilities, and Mr. Lee made mention about our Fort Valley Utilities Commission, what they call closing the loop, spending millions and millions of dollars into making sure that when these industry do come, they can provide the power that's needed. And so even inside when we're talking about the Emola, and we're talking about other things that has happened, and everybody know about this now, the big beautiful bill that because Bluebird Body Company had just received an $80 million grant to assist with building an electric school bus facilities, right? Which would employ about 200 more employees. And so we just waiting to see how all that gonna unfold with all the different cuts on the federal level. But we're not giving up hope of any of those things. We're just believing that this is Fort Valley and Peach County season to prosper. And so from lane packing to all the different peach, the peach farmers that's in Fort Valley that used to be the epitome of the workforce. They still are so important in the city of Fort Valley, but at the same time, we welcome in new development, and welcoming in that new development, we are believing in seeing growth in housing.
Absolutely.
We seeing that in the number of student housing that's being built in Fort Valley.
Yes.
And we're seeing that in the number of businesses that already from 2022 up until now that, gonna came to Fort Valley. Because when people smell rain, they know that growth gonna happen, and you can smell that rain in Fort Valley now.
Absolutely.
We're seeing that growth taking place.
Yes, we are. So it's a lot of things that are going on. We have we open up our new truck stop along 49. That right there is it starts out what we're creating is a bypass that's gonna go right to 96. And that right there in itself is gonna move everything. Once the mayor invested in the infrastructure out on that end, because you can't build commercial on septic tanks. Hey, so once he invested about $300,000 over in that area, it exploded. I mean, the truck stop, housing, townhomes, everything, it just exploded.
Wow.
And it's just, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And like he said, I'm just the mega site. I mean, the governor purchased 1,100 acres from us, from Peach County, and that right there, it moved the needle. It moved the needle. We need housing. So what we're trying to do, the mayor and I, is to stay out in front of it. We're trying to stay out in front of it, and that's where we are. Growth is coming. Just like they said, we don't have enough dorms for our students. They talked about that.
Yep.
What we always talk about in the mayor and I talk, we need to get them to 5,000 students.
Yes.
That's all. Get them to 5,000 students, and then plus another 8,000 to 9,000 that we have outside in our community. We're starting to grow. We're starting to grow, and so people are coming back here in droves, And so what we want to do is have something for them to do once they come back here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, congratulations to both of you. I see the handwriting on the wall, and I see the rainbow on the horizon.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, and so you all make a great team. You're working together. So if somebody wants to learn more, to try to be in contact with one of you, maybe got some ideas or want to assist in some way, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Okay. Well, our phone number here at the office is 478-825-8261. And
Okay.
both have a cell phone. So I'm gonna get this card. My cell phone number is 478-538-8965. Once again, that's 478-538-8965.
Now there's a man who want to get in touch with all the people. He
That's
giving
it.
his cell number.
If you get in touch, the great thing about our relationship, if you get in touch with him, you can get in touch with me.
And
Right.
And I do say this, I do have, and I use this analogy all the time, right? I said, being an elected official, I get 2 days in the seat and the rest out in the street, right?
Right.
And what that means is where the rubber meet the road and you can hear the need from the people.
Right.
And then you can take that back. Secondly, this guy right here, right? I call him because he's been in economic development. He's been doing that for a long period of time. And he always talk about relationships, Mr. Habersham. He always talk about being able to not just get in the room, but know how to move the needle when you are in that room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? And so with that, iron sharpens iron. And so I have the greatest confidence in him being the city administrator, soon to be city manager under different word usage in our charter, but being able to support, without wavering, what he bring to the table, knowing that, and I tell him he gonna have the best interest of the city at heart when he doing it that he's doing. And so we're seeing those connections. And so yes, I gave my phone number out for those who want to come.
Yes,
because we get a lot of different people come through for different things and different ideas. And if it fit into the vision that he has and I have, because it's the same vision.
It's the same vision.
Yeah, right?
Same vision.
We want to sit down and we want to talk. And I always say this: anybody sit down in front of us, I asked her some questions. I call it the WIIF and what's in it for me, right? So we want to make sure that their vision is in line with our vision when it comes to trying to develop our city based on what we know we need, not what everybody else might be able to give us what they think we need. So yes, they come. We're taught. We have dialogue, and if it's fitting into the vision that God gave us to move the city forward, most definitely we want to buy into that. And Mr. Lee Gary made mention about that truck stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
January 2022, when I first got into office, came in office, front page of the Leader Tribune said truck stop not coming to Fort Valley. And from that to this year, we did a ribbon cutting, which means we didn't give up hope. We honored those who put that in place. Our former Mayor Barbara Williams, we invited her down because the vision that came for the truck stop came by way of her administration. And so we just, we picked it up, we carried it on, and now we all are celebrating in the benefits of having that here in Fort Valley, and the other things which are on the horizon, that we feel good about. So send them to us. We'll conversate, we'll sit down, and we'll listen. We ain't gonna come like we know it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to congratulate you guys and thank you for your time. And I want to encourage the community to not only be familiar with Fort Valley, but understand the role that it's playing in those major institutions, including the truck stop.
Yes, sir.
The role that those major institutions are playing in the regionalism of our community and development. It just goes to show when you kind of got a plan, and then when you work together, that the sky's the limit as it relates to what can be accomplished. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex C. Halversham, having interviewed Mayor Lundy and CAO Lee of D. Fort Valley, Georgia. I know it's D. Fort Valley State University, but it's D. Fort Valley, Georgia, home of Lane Packing, home of D. Fort Valley State University, and home of the Bluebird Body Company, all working together.
That's right. That's right.
Make it a better community. This is the call to action. I'm your host, Alex Haversham. Have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com. I started this about 32 years ago because I wanted to engage myself in an economic activity that would influence the community. So I started the Black Pages in an effort to advertise and promote and list African American businesses throughout the community with community and corporate support. And what ties to the quality of life is money. So what we try to do is try to uplift the community economically, encouraging consumers to go and do business with these businesses. And what will happen, a rising tide raises the whole ship. It will improve the entire community. Download our app by going to www.makingblackpages.com.